Hey family, we are live, broadcasting live. This is the Conversation Room 101. Make sure it's only adults in the house. I need your mind to be open, prepared, and relaxed. Welcome to our home. Take your shoes off. We got some rules we need to go over. Be kind. No cursing in the chat. If you want to curse, call in. And no shouting out other channels. That's a no-no. We got one other rule. There is no judging our guests. It will not be permitted. Zero tolerance. And if so, you want to do that, guess what? We got security. And we will escort you out. Because over here, hashtag we don't care. We're going to be one big family. We're going to laugh together sometimes. We're going to cry. But we definitely going to pray. I thank the Lord above for everything. I lift him up and give him the glory. But you guys, right now, we're going to get our popcorn. And then we're going to see what's going on. And let me just park my car. And I'll be in there in a minute. I'll see you real soon.
The Copyright Disclaimer Act. The Copyright Disclaimer Act under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news, reporting, teaching, scholarships, and research. Fair use is used permitted by copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
Do you want to know? Well, I've been thinking about you, and I think you'll have to listen, because the sun is up, it's a beautiful day. My beginning will be
along
as
the
bright
tower
as the
the missing
sun.
in Savannah.
And as you come around, and it feels so right. It's like luck is raining on me. Go and follow your heart. Doesn't matter how far. There is so much love to give. Something's telling me this time, baby, baby, now I know. Baby, baby, gotta go. There is so much love to give. Something's telling me it's right. When you came to me, oh, I knew it's you, yeah, boy.
Where is Cody?
Hey family, how's everybody doing? Thank you guys for showing up on a Sunday, you guys. We coming on. I told you we're going to come on every day. We're going to come on every day, and we're going to cover this whole case. So when they start going back in court, a lot of people think he do have a court date when they're going to start picking out the jurors and all of that in October. But he does have a court date in June. I think it was like June. I can't remember. It is in June or July. But I think it's for either they're going to change the charges or there's more charges, something of that nature. So, that's crazy. This is crazy. I don't know why this thing is coming up here. I'm going to click on it and see what it does. Oh, wow. Okay. It wanted me to put that in the chat, so I did it. Okay, I don't know what that was all about. Anyway, you guys, what are you guys thinking about? What's going on? I want to start going over, and I know this is a little bit too early, but because we ain't went over a lot of the testimony, but it's hit and missed in the testimony. I mean, you got your forensics. We're going to go over that, but I want to get to the meat and the potatoes, the meat and the potatoes. First of all, I want to say hello to everybody that came on in the chat. We got Nancy LaRose. I hope you guys hit that like button. Come on in and hit the like button. Lisa Taylor. All right. Zena, we got our mod in the building. Stephanie is in here. Karen Martin. We got, let me see. Say hello. Nancy LaRose, Nancy, Karen Martin. Let me see. Carla Henry is in the building. Angelique is in the building. I think I'm saying this right. Angelique. I don't know if I'm Quay. Angela Quay is in the building. How you doing? Jazzy is in the building. So I told you guys, once we get what we want, Carla Henry, hey, once we get what we want, is like, if you're part of the family, go ahead and hit the like button. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe to the channel. When we have an interview, I am going to only let subscribers ask questions in the chat, talk to the person that we're interviewing. So if you're not a subscriber, I'm telling you guys now, because I think the rules on the subscriber part, I was in one other person's chat before, and I was like, oh, I'm going to say something. And then they said, you can't say nothing. Only the subscribers can say something. So I was like, what the heck? So I went and subscribed, right? I went and subscribed and came back. But there's you still can't say nothing, I think, for a day or 2 or 3 days or something. And I'm like, dang, I wanted to get off in there and be a part of the conversation, because it was something that I really enjoyed. So I don't know what the rules is. I don't know if it's 10 minutes, 30 minutes. I know that I could not make a comment in that chat at that particular time when I wanted to. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. But anyway, so I did talk to some of the mods. This is back in time. And they was like, let's do that. And I never have done it, but I think we're going to do it this time around. Anyway, you guys, let's go over some of the final arguments, because in the final arguments, I think it's very important that I was going over it all today. And, I was going to come on earlier. I couldn't come on earlier because I just had to think about some stuff. I had some thoughts about it. And I can't remember where I found it at, but I know that, and I can't even remember who was talking about it. I think it was the prosecutors was talking about, they were talking to an officer, a police officer, and they were going over where they looked at. And the weird thing about it is they kept going. When they first started looking for Naziah, and this is why I'm kind of puzzled. When they first started looking for Naziah, and they really did not have no leads, but then they found out about Jarvis, they started going everywhere Jarvis's phone pinged at. And so they did not know. And I know you guys did not really pay attention to this part, but I did. And that was, they went to Ypsilanti, the little town. What little township? They went there, but they did not go to the house that had the red Jag. They went all over the place where the phone pinged at. The phone didn't ping at the house where they allegedly supposed to have took this red Jag. So, and it's kind of weird to me that, you get conflicting stories. Like King is saying, oh, we went to AutoZone and then they just magically forgot something. So we had to go back. That's a lie. Y'all were looking for that little girl to get off. And I say little girl because she is a little girl. But they were looking for her to get off that bus because she wrote in that text message, be there before 3, and if you're not there, I'm going to wait. She said, I ain't going nowhere. I'm going to be waiting for you. And, but King says, we forgot something. I believe King is lying about that. I believe King knew he was looking for Naziah that day. And that's why I have a problem with King's testimony. I mean, you know, some people have told me, nah, I don't really think King got anything to do with it. King is not like that. King ain't trying to, you know, he just mad because he got himself involved in somebody else's mess. And I'm like, I'm not understanding. No, why you don't see this? Because I see it. Hey, Sanjay. Hey, Monique Hall. How you guys doing, Zena? Goddess, how you doing? I have said this the whole time, that Jag in Ypsilanti trip is a lie. I believe it is a lie. Because when they first started looking for Naziah, they wasn't looking at 7 Mile and Berg. They were actually looking in Ypsilanti. And it's so funny because when they asked King, well, see, here's the thing. They were going over some stuff and they said that, okay, they went to Ypsilanti, and I wondered, was she alive then? You know what I'm saying? Because here's the thing, Kat, way too much details about them just seeing her in the trip. Okay, this girl, little girl, was at the shop. She was going back and forth to the little store. She was going back and forth. I believe what Jarvis's sister is saying. I believe her wholeheartedly. She said, because she really didn't have to put herself in that situation. You guys understand what I'm saying? She reached out to what was her name? I wrote it down. Shannon Jones, the person that's over homicide. She reached out to Shannon Jones for some unknown reason. And because remember, she called Shannon Harrison, was like, hey, woo, can you give me, Shannon Jones' number? I mean, the detective. And then I guess Shannon reached out to Shannon Jones and was like, Jarvis's sister is asking for your information. And then she said, give it to her. That's what they said on the stand. And I believe that because it just fits like a puzzle. You said this, she said that. She said this, she said that. It all fits up. But for them to be on, and we really don't know what street they picked up Naziah, but they were going to the AutoZone. And I believe it just doesn't make sense when they're saying that they picked her up on Hopper. But nevertheless, I really don't believe what King has said in his testimony. But nobody's going to come up and say, King, you're lying. King can say what he want to say because it's between King and Jarvis. It's between King and Jarvis. Because think about this. If King turns around and say, I didn't know why we were going back and forth, or he was going up the street, he was driving, I don't know. He kind of like accessory. Like you go with somebody to the store and you know that they're going to the store and they get to the store and rob the store and you in the car, you become accessory. You know what I'm saying? Wendy says, I think Annette took Naziah to Jarvis. No. Okay. That's a possibility, but I doubt it. You know why I doubt it? And you could have something there. Because if they were already premeditating that they were going to take this girl out, let me share something with you. So Naziah texts him and say, I'm getting off the bus. Be there. I'll wait for you. She said, I seen a video of Naziah with the liquor bottle, and I was wondering who brought that for her. Oh, okay. So Naziah got off the bus, and they just so happenly was going to and fro to the AutoZone, and then they forgot something, and then they seen her and was like, oh, there's my niece, out of the blue. You know what I'm saying? When they already made plans to see each other, for him to pick her up, for him to be at that location. But it just so happened that they're at that location. That is not no freak accident. That you were meant to see her because you were driving down the street. And King just lied. And a lot of people, and I just can't get that out of my mind. And I'm gonna tell you guys something. Okay, how many of you in here think that? Now, I don't know if King knew what Jarvis was doing, but it was not, no, we forgot something. King just backed out, put himself out the equation. If you believe King put himself out the equation, put a 2 in the chat. If you believe they just randomly popped up and Naziah was where they were going, or they just seen her, it just so happened all of a sudden, put a 1 in the chat. A 2 if they actually went and was looking for her, and put a 1 in the chat if you believe that they just randomly came up on her. That's a lie from the pit of hell. I just can't believe it. I really can't. Karen says, I believe King knows more, and he said too. Yeah, I believe that. That just makes sense. Because when you're going, one thing about AutoZones is not in residential areas. They're just not. They're on busy streets. Because you know why they're on busy streets? Because those are commercial places that they can be on. I don't believe this bus dropped her off on a busy street. Now, had she walked up there to the street, that's one thing. But and they're talking about, well, they picked her up on Harper and such and such. They picked her up. But I believe, yeah, because it's business. You know what I'm saying? Kat says, remember King was at a birthday party and something happened, and that's what Jay's sister was trying to talk about. I don't know what Jay's sister was talking about. I think when they kept stopping Jay's sister, she kept on saying, the sister, Tijuana, kept on saying, do y'all want me to tell you why how I know or believe, or this happened on the 14th? She kept on saying something about Kat. She kept on saying something about the 14th. And that's when things hit the fan. And I'm like, what happened on the 14th that we don't know? Something happened. Yeah, she was on the stand. Yeah, I know, Kat. But they wasn't talking about no birthday party. They wasn't talking about no birthday party. They were talking, and they had told the sister, they had asked the sister, after she had called Shannon, what happened that changed her mind. Remember? They was like, you went to some podcast and you got a call from one of his baby mamas, and so basically what happened. And then she said February, she said on Valentine's Day, and then they was like, I object. And I was like, whoa. And she was like, she was trying to get it out. And the judge kind of told her, no, don't. Stop right there. Then they went in the back. Well, they talked about it. They went in the back and talked about it. Annette never explained what errand she had to run. Well, see, when the story first came out, they first said she caught the bus to school. And then it was so funny how Annette turns around and says she took her to school, which, neither nor are there, because guess what? She made it to school. Evidently, she did make it to school. So I'm not understanding that. But see, nobody questioned where Shannon was at. Now, I still, at first I was believing that, and I still believe maybe Shannon do have something to do with it. That was the day she went to see King after seeing that Naziah was missing on the news. Well, no, she already seen that Naziah was missing on the news. She didn't know who Naziah was, goddess. She had seen the little girl and didn't know who she was, didn't think nothing of it. What surprised her was, here's the thing, y'all forget really easily. Y'all forget. I don't forget. I may get it mixed up, but I don't forget. God has said they objected because they don't want it to come out yet. Exactly, Kat. Exactly. They don't want it to come out. They don't know what she was going to say. They really don't know. But they know what she done told them already. Okay? So they know if she going to say something about his previous history, sexual gratifications, things that he has done, or is she going to say something about what somebody else said, or the baby mama. We don't know if it's the baby mama that he already did some things. Now, I'm getting some things mixed up, but I'm trying to make a understanding, because I don't know if you guys know this or believe this, or I thought that the little girl that had caught chlamydia and the other little girl that he had done something with, that case he already served time. I thought he already served time. So how in the world, unless this is a new case, how in the world are they bringing that up in this case? You guys know it's got to be a separate child. Tell me if I'm reaching, but I just don't believe I am. Oh, okay, you're right. They stopped her. Oh, you went back and looked? She said they stopped her a couple of times, and that was one of the things they stopped her from saying at first. Yeah. But, and we're going to talk about that another day. And I write down these topics, you guys, because that right there is going to be a big one right there. Anywho's, let's get off into this final, let me pull it. I didn't even pull it yet. Final argument. And let me see, is that the recording? It says it's the recording. I don't know. It says it. We're going to listen to half of it because it is so freaking.
Okay, we are back on the record. This is People of the State of Michigan versus Jarvis. So that's 2459617. Are the people ready for the line of argument?
Yes, Judge, we are.
Okay, go right ahead.
Thank you. And before I get to the real issue on the homicide charge, I'm going to take care of a few preliminary matters. It is the people's intent to increase count 3, which is currently criminal sexual conduct second degree, to criminal sexual conduct first degree, person under 13, defendant 17 years of age or older. We have the defendant's birthday on the record, and that would be based on the testimony of the one minor witness that testified, as well as Cordell Wright's testimony. The minor witness.
Did you guys hear what he said? And they did not let us hear the testimony of another witness. Did you guys hear that? I'm going to play it again, and that's the only thing I'm going to play again. But they said they changed the charge because the testimony of the younger witness. You guys, y'all. I don't want to say, but I just truly believe. Let's go back. Let's go back.
Okay, we are back on the record. This is the people of the state of Michigan versus Jarvis. So that's 2459617. Are the people ready for their line of argument?
Yes, Judge, we are.
Okay, go right ahead.
Thank you. And before I get to the real issue on the homicide charge, I'm going to take care of a few preliminary matters. It is the people's intent to increase count 3, which is currently criminal sexual conduct second degree, to criminal sexual conduct first degree, person under 13, defendant 17 years of age or older. We have the defendant's birthday on the record, and that would be based on the testimony of the one minor witness that testified, as well as Cordell Wright's testimony. The minor witness testified that it happened at the old shop, and when Ms. Ripley was asking questions, she identified that as being the location. Cordell Wright testified back in November that they didn't move from that shop, which was at East Warren and Neff in the city of Detroit, until May or June, based on Naziah's birthday, which is in her medical records. At that time, she would have been 12 years old, and the minor witness testified clearly describing an act of penetration, specifically penis to anal opening.
Oh my goodness, you guys, I done figured it out. I done figured it out. So, oh my goodness, I done figured it out. Because they're talking about the old shop, and they're talking about he did something at the old shop with one of his own kids at the old shop, because they're trying not to say, they said, hey, we got the date of birth. They're not really wanting to throw it out there. Y'all, trust me, I know what I'm talking about. We got to. She said Naziah's cousin testified. Yeah. Let's listen to it one more time. And we'll move on.
Okay, we are back on the record. This is the people of the state of Michigan versus Jarvis. So that's 2459617. Are the people ready for their line of argument?
Yes, Judge, we are.
Okay, go right ahead.
Thank you. And before I get to the real issue on the homicide charge, I'm going to take care of a few preliminary matters. It is the people's intent to increase count 3, which is currently criminal sexual conduct second degree, to criminal sexual conduct first degree, person under 13, defendant 17 years of age or older. We have the defendant's birthday on the record, and that would be based on the testimony of the one minor witness that testified, as well as Cordell Wright's testimony. The minor witness testified that it happened at the old shop, and when Ms. Ripley was asking questions, she identified that as being the location. Cordell Wright testified back in November that they didn't move from that shop, which was at East Warren and Neff in the city of Detroit, until May or June, based on Naziah's birthday, which is in her medical records. At that time, she would have been 12 years old, and the minor witness testified clearly describing an act of penetration, specifically penis to anal opening. With respect to the criminal sexual...
Okay, yeah, that's got to be the witness of a cousin or a witness, a little girl, because when he got out of prison in 2014, I don't know when he started working at Frank's, but that's where the girl is saying that she's seen them doing the nasty at the shop, and or doing it to her at the shop. It's one or the other. Doing it to her or doing it to Naziah at the shop, Frank's shop. Was that I don't know if it's Marquita's daughter or not. I won't even speculate because it's a child. Zena says they are talking about no, Zena. No, sweetheart. We're talking about this other child that's a witness. Because, see, you got to understand something. Naziah is not here to talk for herself. So a witness said something about the shop at Frank's shop. Do you understand, Zena? I thought that Marquita's daughter told on them in front of her. I don't know who it was, Stephanie. I do not know who it was. Wait, how did he get out of prison in 2014 and his daughter was born in 2013? Well, you know, his release date says 2014, but they always have conjugal visits. They can have time to you know, when they're close of getting out. They I can't remember what they're called when they let them go home for a day to see if they can, you know, get back together. Those are called I can't remember what they're called, but those are called not conjugal visits, but when they come home for a day. So why are they referencing Naziah's birthday? Well, I can't tell you why they're referencing Naziah's birthday. Did they say Naziah's birthday? Well, Naziah would have been 12. They probably referencing Naziah's birthday because it probably was Naziah and the person seen them doing it to her at the shop. I mean, it's possible. Has a daughter with Marquita, I think. They saying her birthday to say how old she was. Yeah. Okay. Y'all, I mean, I really want you guys to get that because, man, that has opened. Because at first, you know, I'm sitting there thinking, like, that's what I just said. What? No, I don't know what you just said. So why are they referencing Naziah's birthday? Then you said they are talking about Naziah when she was 12. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, we don't know if they were saying that's when Naziah was 12. What I'm saying, Zena, is so they know the time because Naziah was 12 at that time when they probably went to the shop. So that gives them a range of the, you know, how old Naziah was, how the other person was. I don't know. I'm just saying that opened my eyes right there really big because I didn't know. Anyway, let's keep going.
Child sexually abusive activity, that would be based on the text messages as well as the minor's testimony as well. Combining those two things satisfies the elements of those charges. However, going to count one in murder in the first degree premeditated, I would like to go through and put some of the pieces together. And we are sitting here today or standing here today in court on January 9th, 2025, which is 1 year, almost to the minute, the last time Naziah was seen on a camera in the city of Detroit, which is on the screen now. The last time that she was seen was on January 9th, 2024 at 2:56, getting off of the bus at 3 Mile Drive in Cornwall and walking down Bedford. She was walking towards what she didn't know at the time would be Jarvis Butt's and her ultimate murder by him. We take that moment in time and then go to Cordell Wright's testimony where he testified that they picked Neziah up on their way back to their shop at 9000 Connor, and they proceeded with her to that location. We have Jarvis Butts' sister's testimony, Tijuana Butts, who did say that she saw a young girl with a very descriptive and distinct jacket getting in and out of that car, the white Cadillac Escalade. That would have been before Jarvis, Cordell, and Neziah departed for Ypsilanti. We have Sergeant O'Rourke's testimony as to his cell phone locations based on cell tower information and the historical call detail records, which placed them consistent going out to Ypsilanti. And then we have Cordell's testimony getting them back to the shop. Talacia Moore also testified to seeing Neziah in Ypsilanti with Cordell and Jarvis. Cordell, as we know, testified.
Now, hold on, you guys. Now, see, that's where some things has changed for me, because I went back over the timeline for Tawana. Her phone shows her at the shop 9000 on Harper at 3:45 to 5:16. I thought it was 4 o'clock to 6:30, but it actually shows her at the shop 3:45 to 5:16. And that is more accurate because that's what her phone pinged at. I tell you guys, I go for the details and not getting, oh, let's round it to the nearest hour. Let's round it to the nearest 30 minutes. No, I'm looking at this time because I want to know, did the young lady in Ypsilanti lie about, was it dark, was it light? But we know around about 5:45, the sun is setting, it does get dark. So, and we know that the light came on and she noticed the girl in the light, because, if a light comes on in a car in the daytime, you're not going to notice it. It has to be getting dark or it is dark for you to notice a light coming on in a vehicle. Because my light comes on, whether we know it or not, in the daytime, it comes on every time you open up the door. But you're not going to notice it unless it's either, getting to be dark or it already is dark.
That he had to get back to his house based on his tether hours by 9 p.m. And that is the last time that anyone who is not Jarvis Butts would see Neziah Harris alive. From the shop, we proceed out to the Park Crest Inn, where Jarvis Butts checked into a hotel at 9:30 p.m. And Sergeant O'Rourke's testimony corroborates this, placing his phone in the area of that 20,000 Harper address at around midnight till early in the next morning on the 10th, using the data that you see on the screen in those times. Recapping January 9th, this is the last time that we have any sort of communication from Neziah. There was, if you look at those messages that Sergeant Jones went through and read, just between Neziah and Jarvis, there was consistent and constant communication up until January 9th. There's also no messages from Jarvis after Neziah goes missing on the 9th, looking for her, seeing where she is, trying to find her, trying to help, as anyone should do at that time, her family locate her. There's no messages to her phone, to that Text Now account from Jarvis Butts' phone. Her legal guardian and grandmother, Annette Harris, has not seen any social media posts. The OIC of the case, Sergeant Jones, has not seen anything for a total of 1 year now. The Lieutenant George Harris, who was involved in the investigation in the first month, didn't see anything that he saw from social media or Text Now after the 9th.
I wonder, did you guys just hear him say George Harris was the lieutenant guy that was over the case, that was at the school, that had gave out, the assignment, who should go where and what? That's who I was trying to tell you guys. I was trying to figure out, was he any kin to Annette with, He don't have to be just because his last name is Harris. But yeah. Hey, woke to God, how you doing? We just came on a little bit ago.
Jarvis Butts on the 9th, we know, borrowed Latricia Johnson's car overnight, which was unusual. He borrowed that and then again borrowed it on the 10th or 11th. We know that Naziah's glasses were found in that car sometime after the 10th or 11th when Latricia Johnson was at that shop, and Jarvis Butts snatches them out of her hand. From the Parkcrest Inn and from January 9th, we go out to 7 Mile and Burke. This is by far the most important location in this case because we know that the defendant spent from 11:40 p.m. on the 10th to 1:34 a.m., nearly 2 hours in that area, in that wooded area where the Rouge River runs through. And this is from the slideshow of the scene photos that were taken at 7 Mile and Burke. This is the area where it's the people's theory Jarvis Butts did at least one of two things. Either killed Naziah at 7 Mile and Burke, but at the very least dumped her body in this location. We know this because of the evidence that was found there, specifically the black hoodie, which you see in this photo here, as well as the pink bodysuit and the shoes that we confirmed or that are hers based on the picture that the OIC received from her brother. And those items were collected. The black hoodie and pink jumpsuit were tested. And importantly, Rion Green testified as to which swabs were which. This analysis here and hypothesis and results pertains to the right shoulder swab on Naziah Harris's black hoodie that she took that picture in when she was in school on January 9th. The one, importantly, that Annette Harris testified was in good condition when Naziah left. We will get to pictures of that, but this shows that Naziah Harris's DNA is there, as well as Jarvis. And importantly, this is one of the stain swabs that was positive not just for blood, but human blood based on the hemotrace results. In the next one, we have, this pertains to not the stain swabs, but the regular swab that Rion Green testified was a wearer ID swab. Importantly here, Jarvis Butts' DNA from that swab that would have been taken around the neck of that sweater, or the end of the arms of that sweater, is there with very strong support, and of course, Naziah's DNA is there as well. And when we look at that sweater, specifically through the PowerPoint photos that Rion Green took and put together, we can see that there is a lot of markings on this. If the court looks closely on this, and I did, there are 15 phenopositive stain markings on this sweater. This is just the front of that sweater. And of course, the court paid attention and saw the markings or the damage to the hood, that it is the people's theory would have been stab wounds or something to that effect that happened when Jarvis Butts murdered Naziah Harris. We also have to look, and it goes to the premeditation element as well as everything he did before, at Jarvis Butts' actions, specifically what he did to attempt to conceal or cover up his role in the murder of Naziah Harris. First, we have the glasses that he made sure he grabbed directly from Latricia Johnson's hands when shown, that are consistent with the glasses she had in the photo from the 9th when she was in school. We have the jail call to Cordell Wright to get that phone of his out of Miss Davis's car and into someone else's possession, which he testified he tried to do, but was ultimately unsuccessful. And then Sergeant Jones testified that they ultimately did recover that phone from Miss Davis's car. There's the phone call to Latricia Johnson, which was played when she was testifying, saying to get anything he touched clean, to clean anything he touched, to get anything, don't drive her car, drive his mom's car, which is important because when you combine her testimony of when Jarvis Butts took her car, those two times on the 9th and 10th, and then either the next day or that same day, it's important because that car is the car that he transported Naziah Harris out to 7 Mile and Burke to either dump her body or to murder and then dump her body there. And we can go through all of the lies that Jarvis Butts told any detective or any officer that he testified to, but In highlighting those, he denies to Detective Mays that he was with Neziah at all or had talked to Neziah at all on the 9th, denies ever picking her up, denies to, even when confronted with the January 9th messages, he said that it wasn't him initially. Obviously, we heard in the subsequent interviews, specifically on June 1st with the OIC, he came off of that. He told Shannon Harris that Neziah texted him on the 9th. She says that he never did that. We have some of their messages in the record as well. He denies going to a hotel and denies going to a hotel with Neziah Harris and denies having any sort of sexual relationship with Neziah, even though the text now messages completely prove that that is an absolute lie. We also have his motive. We know from Sergeant Jones that he was going to be going into custody supposedly on January 9th for until roughly December, I believe, is what Sergeant Jones testified to. We know that that date was adjourned because he said in his interview that he had a legal issue. He said it was out in Clinton Township, but I submit to this court that that's not the legal issue he was talking about. He was talking about the legal issue he would have had if Neziah had been left alive. He had to make sure that when he was in custody that she was not going to give birth to any child of his. That's his motive in this case. That's why that's January 9th. Sentencing date was adjourned to February 7th so he could take care of that potential legal issue. He was being told consistently by Neziah throughout the months that she might be pregnant, and then on 11/27, she says to him that it's hard to do this gym shit with this baby.
Hey, you guys, I'm wondering if Neziah thought that they were going to be together, have something to do, He was saying that he want to, do. I'm going to say it in a nice way instead of, oh, he want pee. And she was like, I got pee for you or whatever. And because I really couldn't understand for a whole month how all of this happened so quickly. But I'm starting to see it now. I'm starting to see she could have been already gone. No, because the cadaver dogs would have picked that up. But it's funny how he checked in the Park Crest Hotel. She still wasn't gone. But then he made a phone call to this girl to get her car. And then he drove by the house he stayed at with another girl. She probably wasn't there. But he was, he went by there. Okay.
Less than a week or 2 weeks later, he's searching on Google how to abort a baby, how to not just abort a baby or get an abortion, but how to do it at home, how to get rid of that without any medical professional or any responsible mandated reporter knowing about it. We clearly have that motive. And obviously, Judge, one of the big issues in this case is proving that Neziah Harris is dead without having a body. On January 9th, she vanished off the face of the earth. There is absolutely no evidence after the 9th that she was alive, that she was sending messages to anyone. Her, again, legal guardian had not seen her since the 9th. No one else, officers, friends, family have seen her since the 9th. There's no social media post reviewed by any officer to this day that would indicate she was alive. There's no messages, no further messages on text now after the 9th. There is a full and complete stop of any activity that would indicate she was alive. And Judge, I submit to this court that if that were the evidence that we had at this point, that would be enough at this point for a probable cause determination to show that she is in fact deceased today. However, there is more than that. Her hoodie found at 7 Mile and Berg, which we just saw a photo of, has Jarvis Butts' DNA on it and Neziah Harris' DNA on it, and it is covered in blood, indicating that something traumatic happened to her.
Okay, so now we know why the prosecution believes that Naziah is deceased. They believe Naziah is deceased because she is a teenager that loves to be on social media, TikTok, Zoom, whatever, YouTube, Twitter, whatever, dancing and all this other stuff. And they have not seen nothing, and it's been a whole year. That's why they believe that she's deceased. And then they believe she's deceased is because they found the sweater, the hoodie, with blood on it, with her blood and with the DNA of Jarvis and her, which, he can't say he wasn't with her that day because his DNA is on that hoodie. So that tells you he is the last person to be with Naziah. So I know some people be like, what about Shannon? Shannon did this, Shannon did that. Oh, trust and believe if they would have found any DNA with Shannon's DNA on it, because somebody else's DNA would have been on there, then yeah, Shannon, they would be wondering because it would be a close relative. They would say it's a close relative of hers, and they have not said that.
All the other evidence shows that something traumatic happened to her at the hands of Jarvis Butts. And then we go back to his motive. Was told by Naziah that she was pregnant, searched all of the home abortion procedures, and was going to go into the Wayne County Jail until December, which we just passed, of 2024. Judge, I submit to this court that the evidence that you have heard over the last 4 days proves not only that Naziah Harris is currently deceased, but also that she was murdered by the defendant, who had plenty of motive to do so, had plenty of opportunity to do so, and he did that. And I will note that the defendant in this case, Jarvis Butts, does not get a break because he successfully hit her body. The evidence to a probable cause determination, which the question is she probably dead, and did the defendant probably do that? Both questions are answered with a yes, based on all of the evidence that you have seen. I would reserve any further argument for rebuttal. Thank you.
Okay. So that was the prosecutor's first time going around. It's Sunday. You guys, we're going to come in tomorrow. We're going to go over the defense. What do you guys think about the probability of her not only being deceased, but also being taken advantage of? And Jarvis did it. So she had two phones at the same time. No, Kat, I don't know. No, what actually they were talking about was that Jarvis called by three-way, called one of his girlfriends up. Her name is Latrice Johnson, the one that let him use the car, and told her to clean that car, clean everything. She was like, how are you calling me? And he was like, man, I don't know what's going on. They got everything. They got guns. They got my phone. They got my car. They got my this. They got my that, But then he also called King. And when Jarvis called King, sometimes we got to go back because maybe some people got things mixed up. But he called King and said, hey, King, get the car from my girl, and my phone is in the back of her car. It's in the back of the back seat of the car. And King said, okay, man, okay. And somehow the girlfriend showed up at the shop. I don't know if King called her and said, bring the car in. You know, I'm supposed to do this for your man or whatever. But somehow King did go through the car. They asked King, did he find the phone? King said no. But I guarantee you, when the girl went home, didn't think nothing else of it. She went to the hospital for some unknown reason. Everybody going to the hospital. I think everybody getting these STDs from Mr. Jarvis. Everybody sharing the wealth down there. Sharing the PP. So they all going to the hospital trying to get cleaned up. It's funny, she was in the hospital. She says, no, I'm referring to when the lady got the phone that Roxy ended up with. I don't know nothing about no phone Roxy ended up with. See, because here's the thing. I don't know no phone Roxy could have ended up with. You know, that's somebody else's content. I can't explain it. I just can't explain it. I don't know if it's true. That doesn't even make sense, to be honest with you. Roxy was nowhere around when all this happened. I don't know how she gonna end up with Nazia's phone. That does not even make sense. But it's okay. She said, I looked up Jarvis in Wayne County, 2003. Let me see. Charged for guns and a felony with a gun and concealed. Yeah. No say for a 4-year-old. What? No say. I don't know. I don't know what you was trying to say. No essay for a 4-year-old. I don't know what you're trying to say there. Kat says, during the investigation, they said a phone didn't get turned off until the day before he got locked up. His phone got turned off, Kat. Okay, so what he said was he turned his phone off and probably turned her phone off too, because we do know her phone is turned off on the 6th of February. Or another phone that's in her name is actually turned off February the 6th, the same day that he went to jail. Okay? Now, it could be a coincidence that her phone got cut off the same day as he turned off his phone. I don't know, but it is in her name. She said the lady, her mother, I don't know what you're trying to say, Kat. She says an assault, a sexual assault. Oh, I don't know what you're trying to say. JB has been spreading DNA all over Detroit with a bunch of grown women with low self-esteem, and the aunt is jealous of a 13-year-old baby. Oh, Tony, you said it all. Can I have your email? I will send it to you. No, you can email. You can. There's my phone number right here. You can text it to me right there. But you can also call me right now. I got my phone and try to explain to me what you're trying to say if you want to. There's my number. You can call and let us all hear what you're trying to say. But I think I got it. Oh, Lord, did I even charge the phone up? Oh, I didn't charge it up, you guys. My bad. I was on my other phone. Ain't thought about this phone at all. I can turn it on, though. Hold on. I got a charger right here. Give me about 3 minutes and it'll charge right on up. Give me 3 minutes and it'll charge up. She said, I was trying to say the lady as in Nazia's mom. Oh, lady gave her the phone. Lady did give Nazia a phone. But remember, Nazia said she needed another phone. Yes, SP. Supposedly the cops pinged the phone and it was tracked back to her mother after the mother told them she didn't have a phone. What are you trying to say, Steph? I'm trying to load up. Shoot, I got 6%. Okay. Let me cut this phone on. I ain't used this phone all day. And I don't know how many people done tried to call me. Phew. I didn't even I haven't looked at it all weekend. I've been trying to get me some rest. Hold on, you guys. So you seeing Lady being Kenyatta, Nazaya's mom, could have had her phone. Well, yeah. Yeah, but I don't think Kenyatta had anything about taking out her daughter. I mean, they would have had her DNA too. I mean, I think that's going to be a lot of distractions right there, wouldn't you think? I don't know. Okay, you can call me now. My phone is up. I got 6%. After she came up missing, Lady got the phone. Then Roxy ended up with the phone. Well, I don't know. I think Roxy's doing a lot, to be honest with you guys. And, people can get mad at me. I think Roxy did good by getting her name out there and being a voice for the family, because everybody know the family really ain't saying too much. And she's taking a lot of hits too. But, I think Roxy gets a lot of stuff mixed up. I mean, we all do. I know I do. But shoot, Auntie Mo, yep. Phyllis D. Hart, yep. Stephanie Harden, yep. Tony King, Cat. Next Level. Now I'm just saying hi to everybody that came in. Lisa Calhoun, yep. Kenya Thrasher, yep. Shalonda. Where woke the guy go? I know Karen Martin woke the God. She came here at 9:34. Here we go. Okay, I'm gonna have to turn this up. Why is it not? Hello, hold on. Let me turn you up, because for some reason. Are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, what was you saying?
So I dug through the Wayne County Court for the charges and stuff like that. In 2003 and 2005, he was only charged with gun charges. And then, 2003 it was gun charges. 2005 was a felon in possession of guns and concealed carry and this and that. There was no sexual assault charges for him during those times. So they're saying that's when he went to prison and whatever for 10 years.
Okay.
His daughter.
Okay. So, but there is a charge. There is a charge there. You don't go to jail for a gun charge for 10 years. No, he started going to jail in 2003. And he picked up another charge, and I don't know when it. Let me look. I got you.
I can text it to you, but it shows. And then at the bottom, the latest charge from this year in January on the 9th, he was charged with commercial activity of child sexual abuse.
No, he got
trafficking.
Huh?
He's trafficking. That's what trafficking is commercial use of a child is sex trafficking or organ harvesting.
Is that what you're saying?
I think so. But what I'm saying too is that I don't see the charges where he molested his 4-year-old daughter and gave her an STD. That charge isn't on his Wayne County list. Is there another county he was in that he was charged with that?
Yeah, let me go back to. I have to look at this.
This just gives me a better understanding so I can make my own opinion about it, and I like to dig and make sure shit's facts.
Okay, I'm looking at the 2024 charges. Let me go up.
Yeah, you got to go back to 2003 or maybe even 2002.
Those 2000. It's so much I got to look at.
And there's so many lies, like, because we don't know these people, you know what I'm saying? We don't have that the feeling that you get when you're around somebody and you know they're being sneaky or they're no, you know what I mean? And you start paying attention to shit, and you know, it kind of brings it full circle. And it's hard going through all these things and everybody lying and saying this and saying that, and then family members that aren't even really family members pop up and have all this information, and they're just steering everybody in the wrong direction. So I'm digging.
Yeah. Let me see who sent me that information. Okay, let me see. She sent me that information.
Do
Okay.
you want me to send you the screenshot I have from the Wayne County?
No, I'm looking up this 2003, and because I seen it for myself. Okay. And his birthday it's the 21st, the same day as my daughter's birthday.
You don't even have to put his birthday in there. You just put
No, I'm just
sex service Ramon, and it'll pop up, and it'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Okay.
7 different things.
It says Wayne County was 10/31/2005. The date of the offense was 11/29/04.
Okay, so I have 10/17 of 2003 and 7/26. Do you have Wayne County?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. 'Cause
Okay.
the one that I'm looking at is off of their website, and it says 10/17 of 2003 criminal division, and then it has his case number.
Weapon felony charge 2005.
Yeah, and that was the felony was firearms possession of by felon, carrying concealed.
Okay, 2003. It was for carrying a weapon concealed.
Substance possession of marijuana and carrying a concealed attempt.
He got a sexual charge somewhere. Let me see where it is at.
So at the bottom, that's where he has a bunch. I mean, and starting.
Okay, so the criminal sexual conduct 3rd degree was in 2004. The date of the sentence was 2005. So he, I see that on. I'm reading it.
I don't have that one.
Well,
I only have 2003 and 2005 off.
I'm reading it right here. It says sentence 1, offense, criminal sexual conduct 3rd degree, person 13 through 15. Minimum sentence is 5 years, 0 months. 15 years of months. Court filed. I can give you the court filed number. The date of the offense was 11/29/04, Wayne County, and the date of the sentence was 2005. People, this is what I'm saying. He caught a charge in 2003 of a gun charge, right?
2005 for the same thing.
And okay, but in 2004, the date of the offense, this happened. November the 29th, and the date of the sentence was 2005, and he was discharged January the 4th of 2014.
It's not showing that on my end, but I would love to see that. Maybe I'll put his birthday and then I'll pop that one at.
Well, this is Otis. You go to Otis.
Okay, I would just CMS Public RDCC.org.
You want me to take a picture of it and send it to you?
Will you? Just so I have it, so I know what it is. And then down here on the news charges, as of this year, he is basically being charged with child trafficking.
Well, I'm telling you, I'm reading this for myself. He was criminal sexual conduct 3rd degree, person 13 through 15.
And 2004. So that wasn't a 4-year-old that he gave an STD to. She was 13 to 15 years old.
That's what it said.
Yeah, it sounds like he's just grooming teenagers from the ages of 13 on. And if you look at, I've dug into his Facebook and stuff, because
And he was being friends with people with problems.
with Frank, and I went through Frank's, and Frank has the same shit. And then they have this one guy that has like the, I don't know, if you get deep into like the sex trafficking and stuff like that, they refer to kids as pizza and hot dogs and whatever, different names, watermelon,
Taco, yep.
yeah, whatever they call the kids, you know what I'm saying? But then I got onto this one guy's page from there, you know what I mean? And he had these 2 hot dogs on a bun as his background picture, and then a picture of him. And then when you start scrolling, it's a bunch of sex workers and naked women and just weird shit, you know? And it's just like, that's exactly what it is. It's like, it's a ring that's trafficking girls, that's teaching them how to do this, because the sex and the porn and all that, it's a moneymaker.
So do
There's
you?
so many fucking perverts out here.
So do you think that she's still alive?
I mean, I have a couple different ideas in my head. I mean, if it could go from one way to another, you know what I'm saying? And I mean, she, for all we know, she could be in a teen group home for baby, you know, women with, or a child with baby or whatever. She's hiding just to be protected and taken out of the madness. You know, they could have killed her and dumped her somewhere where they're stop looking, or if the family's hiding her, it could be anything. You know, but without a body, we can't for sure say she's dead.
Right.
Period. And I wouldn't stop fucking looking. You know what I'm saying? If I knew that my kid could be alive and you haven't got me a body, I would not stop looking till I was dead. It's just sad. It's really sad to see that. I have 4 kids of my own, so
Right.
my kid went to after school program by accident. I flipped the fuck out.
Right.
I was yelling at her, you know, I was telling her, find my son. Where is he? He should have been at my car 15 minutes ago. I waited.
Well, here's the thing.
You know?
He couldn't be a registered pedophile unless he's been charged and convicted already.
Oh, absolutely. But
So the charge has got to be there. Like, you know what I'm saying? You don't see it on your end, but I do see it on my end. The charge is there. Yeah, I'll send it to you, but you can find it on Otis, okay? But I'll send it to you right now.
Yeah, I appreciate you. I'm gonna hop off.
Okay.
And I'm gonna tune back in.
All right.
Thanks for talking. Have a good night.
Good night. Okay, you guys, let me send that caller. I don't even know who she was, but let me send her. You know, I'll send it to her. You know, I'll send it to her. I mean, it's public record, you know. I'm just showing her where she can go find it at, and so she can have it, so she can see it for herself. You know, yeah. I just sent it to her. You know, we ain't got secrets over here. Anyway. Yeah. Goddess says, y'all maybe SP didn't hear about this info, laughing out loud. After Naziah went missing, lady was at the same hotel he supposedly took Naziah to, and the phone pinged back to her. I don't know, Goddess. You know, I don't know. It's just, you know, I think like sometimes we can dig and then we have other stuff that comes up and it looks like doubt, and that's what they don't want to happen, you know. You know, that's, let me see here. Yeah, 2003 criminal division, non-capital felony, capital felony right there, 2024. See, it doesn't have the sexual stuff on there, but like I was just told her, and so now she got it, and then she can find out where she can get the other stuff at. That hey, he's got to have he's a registered sex offender. He's registered. He's a registered sex offender. So that tells you he has been charged. I mean, I can't make this stuff up, you guys. I just can't. The mother was questioned by the cops, and the question was asked, did Naziah have a phone? And she said no. They tracked the phone back to her. She kept turning it on and off. Correct me if I'm wrong, anyone. I don't know nothing about all of that, because I know she bought her a phone, and yep, that's what was said. Hey, Miss Sandra, it doesn't matter if JB phone is off because they already have the content from his phone, because they have been pinging the heck out of their phones, and they have Naziah Harris' phone message as well. Exactly. They were getting his phone information. He turned his phone off because they got into that tablet. So they knew his phone number. So, they probably was watching him too. And the funny thing about, I'm back, y'all. I don't know why we getting kicked off. Did his day charges happen in another place? I don't know. We just, we've been going live lately, and we really ain't been having a problem. Dang, I was trying to hear what she was. God is, oh man. And you know what? When they kick us off, it's like it messes up everything that I was speaking on. Yeah, it really do. But they went to Clinton Township because his phone actually pinged in Clinton Township, where Shannon used to live too. I'm just saying, his and this is my problem, and I go over this stuff and go over it and go over it, and then I get on here and y'all confuses me. You guys confuses me. You do, because I got a one-track mind, and what I hear is sometimes I can't even explain it. But when they did not have nothing to go on, the only thing they had to go on was his phone was pinging over there in Ypsilanti more than anything. But this is what I want to say, and I'm going to get off of here for tonight. The thing about the whole situation is, if everything what they're saying as far as the Naziah was still alive, and they went to Ypsilanti, and she came back with them and she was alive, which I now don't believe was true. And that's why King is separating himself from Jarvis, because either they did something while they were down there, and the people down there is like, oh yeah, they came down here because they had to drop off this Jag. Okay, that could be true. That don't have to be true. That's their story, and they're sticking to it. They went down there to that town for some unknown reason, but they came back, and they could have went to the house. They were at the filling station. They do got them at a filling station down there in Ypsilanti. But then when they come back, Jarvis get a motel room at the Park Crest Inn. And then he calls the girl and tell her, let me borrow your car. And then he keeps her car all night. And then he takes her car the next night. And then he goes out to 7 Mile and Berg. He had, you guys, and I just, he had 2 hours. That's when he dropped that body off on the next day, Tanya. I don't believe he dropped the body off the next day. I think that body was in Ypsilanti, and that's why they ain't found her body, is because her body is not over there, 7th Mile and Berg. Her body is in the town of Ypsilanti and King, I believe. I don't care. I believe King got something to do with it. And they did it while they was out of the town. Yeah, she says, no, his offense was criminal for age 13 under, between 13 and 15. That was in, yes, that's what it says, Phyllis. You're right. That's what it says. Mm-hmm. So I think these other two people that has came forward is jumping on the Naziah case and saying me too. You know, one little girl said, you know, the mother said something about the child had chlamydia. How would a 4-year-old have chlamydia? At the time she was 4, and the mother done went and told them, and then she's a witness. And I think there's another girl, because they said it was 2. You guys, that's why that person gave me that video and said, SP, this right here is everything you need. And I was wondering why they were saying, SP, this is everything you need to know. The other 2 witnesses is not an old case, the new case, because you can't bring an old case that's been charged and convicted in. You cannot even talk about it over here with Naziah. I know that. So I was like, they can't bring up something he did. He was convicted and charged, that, you know, unless the door is opened by the defense. They can't say nothing about it. So why is they saying these 2 other girls in chlamydia and all that? You guys remember, let me try to find it real quick. They sent it to me the other day and we looked at it. It was only but a minute video. But I was like, I don't know. I think this is it right here. This
appeared on January 19th. In addition to allegedly sexually assaulting Harris and impregnating her, investigators say he also sexually molested his own daughter. The alleged molestation began when she was under the age of 10. They further allege he sexually assaulted another girl who was under the age of 5 at the time.
She was 4 years old at the time, and she was the daughter of one of Mr. Buck's girlfriends at the time, and we believe her to have contracted chlamydia.
It's disgusting. It's despicable. It's worse than what I thought it was. I've been trying to bring attention to him since 2022, and I did not realize it was this bad.
Bond was remanded for 41-year-old Butts. He's currently incarcerated on an unrelated weapons charge. The sexual assault charges involving minors date back to 2012. Investigators say he started molesting Naziah Harris in 2022.
Unbelievable. I just want this case to move forward. Naziah receives the justice that she deserves. And any other victims who have been victimized by this maniac.
Authorities believe there are likely more children who were victimized by Butts. Meanwhile, Harris's body was never found.
I would encourage any other victims who have been victimized by this man, please speak up. Don't be afraid.
Hey, you guys, this is what I got to say. You know, we don't know who this is right here. We don't know who she is. That's a mother. Can you guys hear me? That's one of the mothers right there. Listen to what she said. That's one of the mothers right there. She said, that's one of the mothers.
It's disgusting. It's despicable. It's worse than what I thought it was. I've been trying to bring attention to him since 2022, and I did not realize it was this bad.
Bond was
She said she been trying to bring awareness to him since 2022. That's 3 years ago. So if she's the 4-year-old mother, then her 4-year-old is now 7. And if the child was 12, then her child would be 15 or 16. I don't know. But I'm going to tell you guys right now, with them being children, they're keeping it a low, frequency because, these are kids. That's why we didn't get to hear that part. That's why we didn't get to see it. That's why it's not making sense. But yeah. This is not they're not talking about the old case, whatever happened back in, 2005. I think that was the year. They're talking about something new. She said she's been trying to get someone to listen to her since 2022. She said, I've been trying to get people to understand this happened 2022. Stephanie said Nazaya's aunt reported him in 2022 as well. Man, they should have had this man off the street. That's all I got to say. Like when was somebody going to listen to these women? And why, when they reported this stuff, he just around kids, smiling, driving Escalades and getting shops and giving them little money. He's sitting up there. He's like, oh, hold on. Miss Phyllis is calling. Hey, Miss Phyllis.
Hey, how you doing? One quick question. So looking back at his other records, why in the world did they let him out when he got out in 2012 with that offense? So he had to go right away when he got out, committed another act. So why was he even out? I mean, he should have still been in prison from 2012 to now.
Right.
It just don't make no sense. Why was he able to get out of that charge? He did it right after he got discharged.
Well, he got out and he got discharged 2014.
Well, there's a 2012 discharge on there too.
Yeah, but okay, when you catch extra charges, you still gonna have to do those. If the sentence was, they have to do it at the same time, and then some sentence.
Okay, I got it now.
And some sentence you got to do one.
He shouldn't be out.
But he got out in 2014.
14. So he was doing something for something else between 2012 and 2014.
Well, you never know. He had to do that time, but you never know if they put him on house arrest, if he was on parole. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got you.
I mean, he was discharged from, just like King. He was on tether, but he's still doing his time, but he's on tether. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's out running around, being late everywhere. But it looks like, okay, whatever he was charged with, beating some woman, he was doing his time, but he was doing it, but he was out.
Yeah, I got you. And where have they? I haven't heard them say anything more about. First, remember they said that they had saw him take her into that hotel, but there was never no exit. So was that really Nizera that went into the hotel?
I haven't seen nothing about they seen that. I mean, people said stuff like that, but I've never heard them say that the last time that they seen her.
In the police report that we knew of her.
Yeah, they ain't said nothing about that because that would have been.
You kind of think that her
Well, yeah, because think about it. At 9 o'clock, he was getting that room at Parkcrest, and then he went and got the car, and then he called Nay at 9:30, and then he even made it to his other house where he lived with Angel, and then you know what I'm saying? Yeah, he's doing a lot right now. He wasn't doing a lot before then.
Right, but he was after that.
But as soon as they made it back from Ypsilanti, that's where, he started doing stuff as soon as they made it back. See, I think King been lying.
Well, yeah, he's been lying, but exactly all about what?
Well, number one, the first lie he said is, oh, they forgot something at AutoZone. That's why they went back. No, that's not why y'all went back. Y'all was looking for her. And only reason why we know she was still alive, I believe Jarvis's sister, because guess what? She's getting him in a lot of trouble. Because sometimes when you tell the truth, it don't look good. It don't feel good.
Right.
And why would you say that against your brother unless that's the truth? And you're not gonna lie for him. You're tired of it. You're done. You're gonna do the right thing. Because she definitely ain't helping the situation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So she said, I seen this little girl. She was jumping back and forth in his car and stuff. So that's the last time that she was alive. Now, King gets on the stand and say, we ain't said nothing because I got music in my car. Nobody said nothing. Y'all stopped at a filling station. Why she didn't get out the car at the filling station? She been running back and forth with chips and soda before. Why was she not there? They didn't say that they seen her at the filling station, but they got Jarvis stopping at a filling station in Ypsilanti.
Yeah, and that's why I said the other day, I feel sorry and upset for his sister because she had enough. And I think on one hand, she didn't know either to the depths of some of the stuff he was doing.
Right.
And I kind of feel for her. But I do hope, like the other lady said, that if there are more mothers out there that he had done something to their children, that they come forward to. Yes, it needs to be a Me Too Children's movement.
Right.
Yeah. All right, we'll jump back to the chat.
All right, thank you.
Thanks for clearing that up for me.
All righty.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And I don't know if you guys know this, but everybody in the channel, y'all help out, especially when you send me something and let me see it for myself, because I can't understand it sometimes. And if I don't understand it, you got to make me understand. And Phyllis, she doing her work diligently. She done send information. I'm like, okay, now I see this. I see that, But sometimes you can look at one site and they may not have all the information. And that's why whoever that was that had called, and I'm thinking it was Kat, I didn't have a problem sending it to her. You guys, I'm going to get off of here. It is 1:30. We've been on here. I mean, it's not 1:30, but it's been an hour and 30 minutes. We got a lot to talk about tomorrow. SP, you done gave up on Nay? No, you know what, Stephanie? You know what about Nay? I believe, she didn't really play us, but I do believe that Nay was the person. I listened to that voice, and I believe Nay was the person that did the three-way call. And so, to the lady about the car, Latrice, what is her name? What is her name? Latrice Johnson. Because I didn't hear a lot. I just heard her say, yeah, it sounds just like Nay. And I said, that's Nay. That's Nay. I ain't gave up on her, but, I'm a call her. I'm going to keep calling her, like I said, but, I don't want no stalking charges. You know what I'm saying? I don't want stalking charges on me just because, but I just believe that was her. And she not gonna tell us, and she probably will, but right now, hey, yeah, we'll see. She might answer every now and then, but she's one of those type of women. She want the man. And I believe that she's still in love with him. She talking about not anymore. Yeah, you are. Girl, yeah, you are. You're taking his calls talking about, I'm going to try to get him to talk. You ain't trying to get nobody to talk. You smiling and grinning because Jarvis is calling you. And if he gets out, you going to show him how loyal you are to him and you help him, which is weird, but she ain't got no kids. And if she thinks he gonna be with her, she crazy. Why would he be with a woman, barely works, can't help him, and he got this good looking woman over here, work a good job. She got a good job. He live with her. She just don't care. I mean, he just doing whatever he want to do. Why would he want to be with her? You know what I'm saying? And even if he was with her, he wouldn't be faithful. But she not going to get to see that. You can't even tell this girl that because she'll be thinking you want him. That's what she thinks. She thinks you want him. Don't nobody want Jarvis but you. She still want Jarvis. And that's the bottom line. I'm just telling you guys the truth. I talked to her and I know these women, when I talk to them and the way they talk, yeah. You want to see what May looks like. Oh, you want to see what Nay looks like? Well, I can tell you right now that, she not going to want nobody to see her. But I guarantee you, if it gets really hot in the kitchen, you're going to see her on that stand. If she keep helping Jarvis, you're going to see her on that stand. Because she's going to probably, like all that, I feel sorry for the baby and all that stuff. No, she feels sorry for herself. Just like that other woman. She got on the stand. She's mad. And they got a good reason to be mad. But, you can be mad at yourself. Because when you see all these red signs and these red flags and people are telling you and they're going to court and you got to call other women and all this other stuff. And he got a fiance. He living with a woman. He got 13 kids. This one got 5. He's picking up little kids. He's screwing these kids. He went to jail for screwing kids. And you sitting there crying over this man. Girl, bye. You can't tell me. Jarvis called. She's like, yeah, I'm still, and we've been making love. Yeah, we still been, I gave him my body. Girl. That's just the way it is, you guys. And then people be like, why is this continue to happen? Look what you're dealing with. This woman thinks that, like, she really don't even believe he did this stuff. And, I mean, that's her opinion, But trust and believe she's in protective mode. And it's not just to protect her. She may say it like that. But I promise you, she in love with Jarvis. So we may never hear from Nay again. She in love with Jarvis. I'm just telling y'all. So that's why. And when she finally talked to him, that's when she kind of basically went left. Yeah. But it's okay. I told y'all, she'll be on that stand. You'll get to see her. Huh. All right, you guys. I'm going to get off of here. You guys be good. Be great. Be nice to each other. Bye.